Hey folks, hope you had a wonderful Easter, but it's time back to business, and I want you to look at these beautiful flowers here Mama Hoss has got. Welcome to the Row by Row Gardening Show, the best dadgum gardening show on the internet, where we talk about gardening, a little bit of cooking, and growing your own food. Now sit back and enjoy.
We got snapdragons popping. This is some Swiss chard I stuck in here, some ends of asparagus, just beautiful, some lavender. I love this time of year.
Yeah, we just got into snapdragon business big time this last year. Evan, which did the show last week, is kind of project manager with snapdragons, and he can talk about snapdragons for a while. They're beautiful. It's a cool season flower. They've done extremely well for us. They're what I call slot flowers. They have their time of the year when they really do well. Of course, in the springtime, they really do good. They do in the fall, too. They do struggle in the middle of the summertime, so in the middle of the winter, of course. But snapdragons are easy to grow, and they're fairly quick. So if you need something for that springtime or that fall, snaps is a good choice there. Come in beautiful, beautiful colors. Look at that right there. Just the white and the yellows there. Can we get that right there? And who would have ever thought about using Swiss chard as a filler?
Yeah, it's pretty though, isn't
Yep.
it? Got a foxglove in there. I think these multicolor ones are the Tetra mix.
Mm-hmm.
And these, I actually planted them from seed last year.
Mm-hmm. And they came back.
Well, they never even died. They just kind of stopped going.
So I'm going to move it over here to the side and expose Mr. Otis right here. Mr. Otis, can you say hello? Say hello there.
A snack, he might.
He wants to do a snack. Otis is sitting in here with us today. Otis is really come around. We've had Otis, what, a month?
Maybe a little longer.
Get that head up here. Put your head up here, Otis. Say hello to everybody.
He'll pop up every now and then.
He'll pop up.
I got you a snack.
He loves snack. He's a real chill. He's a chill dude. All right, so we're gonna get into today what you need to be doing in April. April is probably, oh man, April's the go time for gardening. With our business here at Hoss, we notice every year our biggest 2 weeks of the year is the week before Easter and the week after Easter as far as gardening supplies. Everybody's really in the mood. Mother's Day is another time of the year that things kind of get kicked off again, but everybody's really in the mood for
Isn't this weather been crazy though, again?
Yeah.
Yesterday I had to pull back out my jacket.
I did too. So we was having some warm weather, which really felt good. But man, it turned off cool again. But I think this is it. This is our last little cool spell, and we're going to get into some warmer weather. I think this cool spell may have a little bit of issue on our plants kind of stalling out a little bit. They're not going to grow quite as much, but just as soon as it turns back around, we're going to be fine. And it hadn't been cold enough that caused any damage.
No, but I was thinking about, I think it was last weekend, the plants just like popped. Like they grew 2-3 inches in 2 days. It's like the soil warmed up, temperature was perfect, and they knew it was their time to shine.
Their time to shine. But we kind of went into kind of a little bit of a lull now, but it's going to pick back up. So what do we need to be doing now? Well, here we are the week after Easter. For us here in 9A, South Georgia, it is go time pretty much for everything. There's going to be some exceptions to that we'll talk about. But let's get into what you should have planted by now. If you don't, you need to get them in the ground pretty quick here. But first, let's talk about some of the things that we can have problems with. Inconsistent watering. Now, it's been extremely dry where we're at. Extremely dry. There's no rain in the forecast for the next couple of weeks. So it's surface water's got down at
And
ponds.
we're in zone 9.
We're in zone 9. So drip irrigation has been a save all for us right now. Well, I've been having to run it every other day on these young plants. So on these young plants, these transplants, when you put them in the ground, you got to keep them wet because they dry out real quick. So I'm ordering my plugs every day on a hot day or every other day right now till they get established. Once they get established, we can start weaning them off from that somewhat. But the drip irrigation is really paying off at this point for me. Yeah. I know you've got drip irrigation in your beds that you've been using a lot. You love to hand water. I'm not a big hand water.
I've still got some that I have to hand water, and that makes me go out there and really put eyes on everything.
I do some hand watering in the greenhouse, but it's not a therapeutic session for me like it is for you.
And I pull a few weeds.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you say right now is make or break planting time for us?
Yeah,
I mean,
think
it's
so.
after Good Friday.
Well, for most things, there's going to be a few things that that I think we're still okay for.
But April's really the magic.
It's the magic month. Yep.
So when you get ready to put those transplants in the ground, make sure they're hardened off.
Yeah, we harden all of our plants off before we ship them to you. But if you don't know what hardening off is, it moves them from that really warm greenhouse where they kept them at a warm temperature all the time, or inside. Move them outside. Some of them will get acclimated to the cooler nights. It kind of helps those plants become tougher when we put them into the ground. If we do have a little cold spell, or if it gets hot as well. Heat or cold can stress the plant, and it kind of helps it acclimate it to the outside weather there. Another thing we talk about is mulching. Now, this is one that we disagree on. And you just planted some sunflowers the other day, and you mulched them with pine straw, because I went out there and helped you. But I don't mulch any in my garden, but you do.
Yeah, and the sunflowers are in the ground, not in the raised beds. I just find it easier to keep up with the weeds. It helps retain the moisture, and it's pretty.
That it is. Now, in my garden up here, Evan and I do a lot of trials up here, and we flip things real quick. So we don't mulch because it kind of gets in our way. The way we garden up here, we garden on a little tighter schedule.
As an extra step, because you got
Adds
to
extra
remove it,
Yeah, and it's
and then you got to put it back at the right time.
Some people it works for, some people don't. I'm not a big believer in mulching. In raised beds, I've seen, especially with perennials, things like that, definitely it's got its place. But for annuals, not really for me.
Which now in some of my raised beds, talking about mulching versus not mulching, where I've got the dwarf sunflowers that Evan showed, this week they've completely covered the area. So I won't mulch them because the plant actually provides the mulching and the coverage.
Right. As we move into that, mulching also will help conserve some moisture. As dry as we've been, it does make a difference there. So if you don't have any way to water, mulching may be an option for you, especially if you got a small garden or raised bed. Fertility, which is a huge thing. This is one of the things most gardeners kind of fall through the cracks there on fertility. When those plants are small, they need to be fed a lot. They don't need to be overdone, but they need to be fed a lot. I'm real big believer in an organic fertilizer to start with. Work into the soil, get your microbes working and your soil real happy for those plants. And then we'll start hitting them with some synthetics to keep them pumped along, whether it be the 20-20-20 or
Amend that soil with compost too.
yeah, with the all-in-one, yeah. Compost, worm casts, any of those things right there make you look just like a hero. A lot of people don't understand that when plants are just like us people, when they get malnourished, disease and insect problems jump on them. So keeping those plants
Stress.
nice and healthy will help fend off disease and insect problems.
I pulled up my garlic one day this week. It didn't do well.
Well, and we had a fairly cold winter here. But garlic for us, hard neck, soft neck garlics is just it's a gamble for us here this far in the south. Now, elephant garlic does really good
Well, this
for us.
was elephant garlic. It just.
Oh, it was elephant
Yeah, that
garlic?
was elephant garlic.
Oh, okay.
But it just didn't.
It just wasn't your time, was it?
What is it, my year for garlic? Oh, but yeah, I've still got a good bit, and I'll have enough to freeze dry because I'm almost at the bottom of a jar of that I did last year.
What we all have to deal with as gardeners is failure every now and then.
Yeah.
I don't care how long you've been gardening, you're gonna have something that just doesn't perform.
Doesn't do, yeah.
Speaking of that, a lot of people are talking about onions right now. Our onions are getting ready to be harvested.
Starts falling over.
Yep. So our Vidoras, which is our early maturing varieties, have started falling over a little bit. You're going to see those falling over more and more. A lot of people are, if you planted more than one variety, you can expect them not to all mature at one time. Now, the rule of thumb when harvesting your onions is when 50% of your tops fell over. Some people on our Robo Row show have talked about their red onions not doing good. And now, red onions in general, folks, I don't care whether it's red onions or red cabbage, any kind of red vegetable is normally harder and more
Slower.
And they just don't do as good. Red onions,
They don't keep as well.
they don't keep as well. We love growing red onions, but red onions are harder to grow than regular onions. And sometimes they mature out a little bit quicker. Sometimes we make good years, sometimes we don't. Now, it looks like this year our Vidora and our Texas Early White and our 1015 is going to do wonderful. And my red onions are looking okay. They're not going to get as big as my Vidoras, by no means. But red in general is just harder to grow there. And we grow them. We don't grow as many of them, but we love growing red cabbage and we love growing red onions. But they are a little temperamental.
We'll have to see who's next week. Compare onions.
Yep. You can expect your Vidoras to get ready about 10 days to 2 weeks before your 1015s, and your the Texas Early Whites is going to be real close to my Vidoras this year. Another thing I've noticed in the past, you're talking about elephant garlic. Normally for me, my elephant garlic gets ready about a week or 10 days after my onions do. So yours is real early this year. So
We had a question about their onions was bolting or seeding out. Do they need to cut them off or go ahead and harvest?
and go ahead and harvest them. I really should expand on this a little bit more. Bolting onions normally is a stress indicator of your plants. I'm not bragging anything, but I have not got the first bolted onion in my garden. When you see bolting onions, it's from a stress. And those bolted onions are not going to get near as big. They're not going to store as well. They're not going to do as good. And there's nothing at the point at bolting you can do about it.
Is that the same as on garlic? Because my garlic has started bolting.
No, it's not the same thing as that. Onions, when we see onions bolting, they are, I say it's a stress indicator, and there are some varieties that are breeding forward to help with that a little bit, to help take more stress. So there is some breeding be done for that. But most of the time when we see onion bolting, it's because you didn't do something right in the onion growing process. You didn't feed them correctly, you didn't get them nutrients correctly, or you didn't water them right. Something happened there to stress that plant to cause it to bolt.
I think I also read that the fluctuation in temperatures could cause stress on it.
It can, but it's normally in conjunction with something else that we did wrong. So they can be a twofold thing there. If you've got onions bolting, reevaluate your growing process. And by all means, don't plant sets. If you planted sets, that could be part of your problem there. With onion plants, if you plant the right onion plant at the right time and you grow them correctly, you shouldn't have bolted onions. That being said, if you got one or two, don't stress over it. But if you got very many, then you got a problem with your growing.
Talk about pest. It said get ahead of your pest early. Don't wait too late.
We have every year a lot of people complaining about vine borers and squash bugs. And this is the deal, folks. You need to start early on those squash and those cucurbits and make sure that you keep the populations down, because once they get to be adults, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. You don't kill them when they're in the baby stage. They're a lot easier to kill then. So start spraying early. And look here, you can use an organic insecticide. It's fine. They work on these soft-bodied insects. Get good coverage, but start before you have the problem if you've had a history of vine borers or squash bugs. And stay religious on your application. I do it once a week.
Okay. Common April mistakes for our area. Waiting too long to plant your heat crops.
Yeah, so all your heat crops need to be planted ASAP. Tomatoes, peppers, any of those, eggplants, any of those you need to get in the ground ASAP. On your beans, you should have probably planted them before this, but I just had a conversation this morning with somebody that got behind the ball a little bit on the green beans. You still got plenty of time to plant your green blades. But at this stage in the game, this far south, plant a heat-tolerant green bean if you're going to plant one at this stage. Pole beans you should have already had planted.
Watering too shallow, causing weak roots. I think I may have
an issue with that. Hand watering normally leads to that because you don't stand there and water as long. That's the reason I love drip irrigation. You can just kind of leave it on and walk away, and you really get that good deep water. Yeah, you can have those kind of problems. That and over fertilization, under fertilization, either one of those, try to get it just right there.
Another thing is trying to plant cool crops now.
Yeah.
Trying to squeeze in.
We're winding down on our cool crops. We just harvested some cabbage the other night and ate some of the last of our cabbage. We still have Brussels sprouts growing.
I don't know.
Those are going to make, we're going to leave them alone, but we're going to grow our Brussels sprouts out. But most of our cool season crops are gone by the wayside now. We're getting those out of these prime real estate so we can plant some of these warm season crops that we get so excited
Yeah, we
about.
had the last of our broccoli last night.
Yep. Sweet potatoes is one of those things that you want to wait on. Everybody wants to jump the gun on sweet potatoes. We won't even start shipping sweet potatoes toward the end of April. The sweet potatoes love hot weather. They don't do good in cool weather. I planted my sweet potatoes all the way up to the 1st of June, and they have done wonderful. I prefer to plant my sweet potatoes in May, and preferably toward the end of May. So sweet potatoes is one of those things we want to go ahead and get a plot prepared for it, get a plan where you're going to plant them out, but don't jump the gun on those.
And
Melons,
you can even grow them in a grow bag.
yeah, we grew them in a grow bag last year. Melons are one that I think take a little bit more warmer weather. We're going to plant our melons this week, our watermelons this week, but we've held off a little bit on that. Let's talk about our mallow family plants, which is roselle and okra. I think you probably need to wait another week or so to plant either one of those. If you're going to direct seed your okra, probably wait a week or 10 days till this weather turns around a little bit. Roselle, same thing. If you're going to grow them in the greenhouse and grow out your transplants, you can probably go ahead and get them in the ground
See
pretty
how
soon.
my roselle's struggling up there.
Your white roselle.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the white roselle. It is struggling.
It's struggling, but I think it's going to bounce back.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But we got okra we're going to put in the ground probably toward the end of this week as transplants.
Flowers right now, there's a lot of flowers you can either transplant or direct cut. Your regular sunflowers, I believe you could transplant them right now.
Absolutely.
And zinnias, Candace, our niece, sent us, she was so funny. She doesn't really like to garden, but her mother, my sister, loved zinnias. So in her honor, she's trying to plant zinnias where Keneal always planted them. And so she direct seeded them, and she sent me pictures every day. So the first day, she had 2 germinates. Next day, it was like 30. Next day, 50. Next day, 100. Then she said, too much to count. But she's so proud of herself that she got the motivation to get out there and do it.
Yeah,
That makes me happy.
It is. It's fun to watch somebody get so excited about small plants. We kind of take that for granted sometimes.
But yeah, asters, your cosmos, your marigolds, your zinnias. Oh, we got some new color zinnias coming out.
Yep.
It's pretty.
Some great colors. All right, let's talk about corn for a minute. So I've got sweet corn up. I want to plant me some field corn. I'm going to wait 2 weeks for the cross-pollination thing not to worry me too much. So we still got time to get corn in the ground. The earlier you get your sweet corn in, the less worm problem you're going to have. And that's the reason I like to get my sweet corn in first. But we still got plenty of time to get some field corn in. We've got our Jimmy Red coming up. We planted it about a week ago, our big field of Jimmy Red, so it's starting to come up. So that's our seed crop for next year. So you still got time for corn. So if you don't have sweet corn in the ground, by all means, you got get it in there as soon as you can. Cucumbers, time to plant cucumbers now. We just had this conversation yesterday with a customer. If you're going to trellis cucumbers, you want to grow the Halcinator Slicer or the Halcinator Pickle. They work really good for trellising. If you're not going to trellis them, you want to grow one of these gynoecious types. And I can't think right off the top of my head which one of those varieties are, but you go to the website and check one of them out. The gynoecious types are going to perform a little bit better if you're not going to trellis them. They're not going to get quite as big a plant, and they're going to load up early, and especially if you got a squash bug or a vine borer problem, those are good types to plant because they get through real quick. Our Halcinator series have a little bit of a lower harvest interval, so that's the reason they work really good for trellising, and they climb. I just can't figure it out. Summer squash and zucchini, get them in the ground, folks. It's time. Keep them planted every 2 weeks or so. Plant your new crop, a little small area. It ain't got to be very big, so that you keep succession plant going so you'll have squash for a long period of time.
Do that for your flowers too.
Oh, yeah.
Your
Good
sunflowers. Plant them like a batch every 2 weeks, and you'll have sunflowers all summer.
Yep. All right.
Peppers, we talked about peppers.
Yeah, peppers in the ground, tomatoes in the ground. Lord, I got I got a bunch of different tomatoes planted. I'm excited about this tomato.
Where are you going to plant them at?
I've already got most of them planted. I got some tie-dyes I still got to plant, but I got everything else already planted. Tie-dyes I was a little late on. And
They right here.
Oh, yes, they are. Yep.
You was a late on them. I planted those.
You was, but I had to bring them back to life a little bit. They wasn't doing real good for you, so I had to baby them back.
Yeah, so these was planted March 1st.
So
in the she shed.
They're only 5
I'm
weeks old.
working on my seed starting and my heat mats and my grow lights. It's the first time I've ever done it. You didn't have to do anything to them.
I did not.
Except maybe.
They were struggling a little bit. I had to move them to my greenhouse and kind of pump them along. I've got a new, I'm going to butcher this up, but I got a new variety I'm trialing out that is a hanging basket tomato. Francesco or something like that. It's a new variety. You put like 3 plants in, it's a dwarf tomato, but you put like 3 plants in a hanging basket and it kind of trellises over there. So I'm trialing them out there. I'm excited about that.
What's those that our nephew Tatum gave us? The spoon tomatoes. What is that?
I think that's a currant. I don't know if it's a spoon. I think it's a currant, which is actually not a tomato.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I got to double check that.
Huh.
Yeah.
You gonna plant those?
I may plant those. Yeah, I got them in
You may
pots.
plant 'em.
Well, I got to find place. I do have a place for them, but I got my greenhouse is full and my garden's full. I go crazy this time of year planting stuff. But I think that's normal for a gardener.
Herbs that thrive right now. Basil.
Oh yeah.
Behind you is some of your
Greg's basil. So I grew these out in these pots to give to all the ladies in the office here, and I did that this morning. They're crazy about them.
Aww.
Look here, I am absolutely astonished at this Greek basil here, and it's called Greg's basil here. This thing gets full. Unlike most of your big leaf basils, this one here grows very tight, which lends itself really good to pots right here. I'm in love with this right here, and it has the most. Oh,
it's bushy.
It's bushy, but it
and super
smells.
tall. Yeah.
You could the smell on this right here is just awesome, and you walk by it, you get a whiff of that basil there. So Greg's basil, we're growing all those pots, and we love Greg's basil. So if you don't, it's a smaller leaf there, and it does extremely well. Got mildew resistant, so most of our basils really suffer a lot from downy and powdery
So we
mildew.
carry that
We
already?
do carry this right here. Yeah, it's a great basil there.
Others,
We found it out of the UK.
Others, your dill, your cilantro, you would need to do some transplants or plugs there, and we do have those on our website.
We do have some of them available on the website.
Oregano, thyme, you got plenty of time for that.
And we sell cilantro and dill plugs, but folks, I'm gonna be honest with you. You can grow those from seeds real easy.
Quick enough before to bolt?
Oh yeah, I think so. They grow so quick.
Because my cilantro's already bolted.
Yeah, I have some already bolted too. So I would prefer we sell them as plugs, but I would prefer to grow those as from seed because they grow so quick. All right, so what else? Man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okra, beans, we've covered pretty much everything
Yeah.
here.
Tell us in the comments what you've got going, or what you are gonna plant.
I'm not planting any gourds this year. It's really unusual for me. This is the first year I've not planted any gourds in a long time. I normally plant some kind of weird off-the-wall gourd every year.
And don't really do a lot with them. Give them away.
But I love to grow gourds. All right, so we got a special garden spotlight this week, folks. Clint Grantham over in Jack, Alabama. Clint's in his own 8B, and look at him and his little heifer.
That needs to be on the cover of a magazine.
Put some potatoes in the ground. Clint, that's postcard right there.
I say magazine.
Yeah, that's magazine card. Look at that, right? Beautiful barn in the background.
That would be a good Christmas card, Clint.
Yeah. Clint, thank you for sending us that in. That makes our day right there. All right.
All right. You've got to tell everybody hello. Come here.
He's a little camera shy today.
Come here.
All right, folks, on
Tell
the
me
bobblehead. The bobblehead here is on the site here somewhere inside the bobblehead. Put in the comments below, and we will do next week's drawing for this week. Last week's winner for the bobblehead is Regina Boyce. Regina Boyce, 2435. Regina, send us your shipping information to.
Support? No. I was.
You was notified, wasn't
It is support at growhouse.com.
you? Yep.
I'm like, Evan, did you see Evan last week?
No, I didn't. He had trouble with that.
Yeah, he couldn't. He had a brain cramp, just like I did.
Yeah.
He'll find that funny. Evan did a good job last
He
week.
did. He did. He was so proud of himself, y'all. He was so proud of himself. He did really good. So, y'all, it's that time, man. It's that time of year just to stay outside, enjoy that sunshine every night, man.
I've been out in the garden. Usually, I didn't yesterday because it was cold, but I get out there about 4 o'clock and work till about 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
What we got still going?
Herbs. We got asparagus. We got strawberries. We're getting another. We still got them available. We're getting another shipment in next month. We got turmeric coming in about
Ginger.
a week, and ginger. We got all kind of things. Check out our website. We still got tomato and pepper plants, herbs, seeds. We got wonderful new flower seeds.
Pre-order sweet potatoes.
Yep, pre-order sweet potatoes. A lot of things going on. If you don't see what we got, send us an email. I guarantee you we probably got it somewhere. So thank you for joining us. Get outside. Enjoy this beautiful spring. Enjoy and cherish every day and get your hands dirty.